By then, I was showing outfits on Instagram and for a living. I have a course called the Art of Dressing Masterclass. Museums hire me. The Fashion Council of Chicago hired me. Scat Savannah hired me. I became a model when I was 63. And I teach this course, and I have 135,000 followers on Instagram.
Well, hey there, it's Miriam Schulman, and welcome back to The Inspiration Place. You're listening to episode number 363, and I did something a little bit different this time. I did sacrifice a bit of the audio quality because we're using my webcam, but I wanted you to step into my studio just as I did with the legendary Tziporah Salamon. Style icon, storyteller, model, and the original fashion philosopher. And let me tell you, this episode is a lot more than what you wear. It's about who you become when you're honest and authentic. Let's dive into this conversation.
Hi, everyone. So I just came, right? Did so many things. So I actually biked up here. I live on 72nd Street and Riverside.
You want to tell people that?
Yeah. It's okay. So I biked up here.
Everybody knows where I live.
And I realized that I have to do a shechianu, which is a blessing where something good happens, or something for the first time, or you're seeing friends for after you haven't seen them in a long time. So you say this blessing, shechianu. You're basically thanking God for arriving at this time in your life, in this moment in space and time. So then I came, and God bless you, you had this around your waist, and you said that you told me in a text that you were putting on a scarf.
Yeah, I was
because I was coming. That's exactly
it on my head.
That's exactly it. That's exactly because she had it around. You had it around your hips. It breaks up. Overalls, you don't fuss with overalls. Overalls are overalls. You don't put a belt on overalls. You don't put a cord on overalls. Overalls. It's overalls. You got to see the whole overall effect. This and the hair. I mean, there's so many ways to do it. You could do this. You could do, right? I would be playing with this.
Do I need to get my form, or you?
I don't even know what a form is.
It's the Orthodox. Yeah, the Orthodox thing.
Get it. Okay. Are you Orthodox?
My son is. So when I go to Israel, I from it up.
I love that.
But I enjoy it because to me, it's like, it's fashion.
Yeah.
So it's like, how can I look as good as possible, but still stick to the rules? This, for people who don't know, what the Orthodox women, they wear this under their scarves because it gives them a little more height and it's more flattering. I bought this last year for one of the shavabrukas for my son's wedding because he got married last year.
Perfect. And I love that you're going to be playing with the tassels, of course. Where the tassels, like we know from playing with tassels, for when we put them together to say the Shema. So do people know that
they know nothing?
They know nothing. Okay.
Some Jewish followers. I have more Jewish followers since October 7th.
So okay, how would you do it? This is what I would do. I would tie it here, kind of, so that these little doodads. So, but let me see what you would do.
So if I had more time, and like I'm so excited to be talking to you, so like I'm not really focused on like how to tie my scarf, but like the stripes, I've managed to get it so it like with the stripes.
Okay.
You know? And then what I like to do is
it's a great. Did you recently get that scarf?
Last year before the wedding.
So good. And so you wore that to the wedding?
No.
No. I want to see what you wore to the wedding. Okay. Lovely.
So now I feel like I am ready to greet you.
Yes, you're right.
And
you're absolutely right.
What we have to tell our listeners who may not know that Miriam is Moses' sister. And
Tziporah. The name is Tziporah.
Tziporah is Moses' wife.
Yes.
So for those of you who know the Bible, Miriam is Moses' sister. Tziporah is Moses' wife. That makes us sisters, basically. And right now, as we're recording this is the holiday Shavuos, which is when Moses goes up the mountain. This is his big moment.
My husband's big moment.
My brother, right.
He's coming down with the Torah, with our Bible, with the Ten Commandments, with a blueprint for us on how to live a life worthy of living, a righteous, beautiful life that gives back to the world.
Best self-development book ever.
The best. The Bible is the best.
It has everything.
It's the
Imposter
best.
syndrome, everything.
So what's interesting is that you and I just met. We met at a restaurant called Miriam on Friday at a restaurant called Miriam.
Yeah.
I didn't know about it. My friend emailed me the thing and she said you should go.
And I saw Zippy. I recognized her from.
So how do you know me? So you follow me?
Yes. There was like maybe an article in the New York Times about fashion influencers over 50. I think that's when I started following you. Maybe 5 years ago. I don't know.
Okay.
But I recognized, I was like, I think. And then I looked at your Instagram. I was like, oh yeah, there's the necklace. That's the same necklace.
And then you came up to me.
I did. And the artist was very good and very interesting.
Yes.
And I have a podcast for artists. So my friend's like,
Yes.
well, how come you don't want to interview her? It's the conversation that we're about to have that I'm much more interested in than the conversation I would have had with the artist.
Good. Let's go. Let's start.
Yeah,
I'm ready.
So I think this is a conversation about what it means to be a Jewish artist in a post-October 7th world.
Perfect. And perfect for me because of the kind of artist I am. I don't paint. I don't sculpt. What else does a painter do? Usually that's what we think of. I was born and raised in Israel. In 1950, Israel was refounded in 1948, okay? I grew up as the country is 2 years old. So I'm there when the buses are first going up, okay? In little Netanya, my little hometown, there was no hospital then, right? I was born, they had to take me to Hedera.
Which is where my daughter-in-law is from.
Another bingo. Okay, so things like this, let me teach you something to the world.
Beshert.
It's Beshert. God's favorite game.
How he says things, never how I say things.
Beshert. God's favorite game is bingo. She and I met at a restaurant called Miriam. Miriam is my sister-in-law. Her name is Miriam. Bingo! What just happened? I just said Hedera. She knows of Hedera. Her daughter-in-law lives in Hedera. Bingo! Bingo happens all the time to all of us. All of us have bingos going up. It's like popcorn. Boom, 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 boom. But you got to be aware of when they go up. Right? When you hear bingos in your life, coincidences, and there's no such thing. No. It's God showing up and God saying, listen up, kids, right? Ringing bells. This is important. There's an important connection here. Go find out what it is. So here we are, finding out what it is.
I'm so excited.
So, okay, fast forward. My mother could knit, crochet, sew, and embroider. So I would have the onesie that she knit or crocheted, right? I would have the little hat that she knit or crocheted. I would have the little slippers, shoes that she knit or crocheted. Dad was a tailor, okay? Let's not leave him out of the conversation. So he would make the toggle coats and the pants and the shirts. So from day one, I grew up and more clothes, equal little boys' clothes that my father made and girls' clothes that my mother made. And I was equally comfortable as both and I was adorable. Okay, so that would have been enough. I would have been the best dressed girl in little Netanya. Hands down, she wins. Little Zippy wins. But God wanted a thoroughbred. So what I forgot to say is that they were Hungarian Jews, Holocaust survivors, okay? My father survived because he sewed the Nazi uniforms. They needed his skills, okay? My mother had already left, and now she was in Budapest working as a dressmaker at, of course, Budapest's most elegant shop. They were from a town called Beregszás, a small little town, right? They knew each other, right? And when my mother learned how to sew, she, of course, after high school, she, of course, went to the big city where she could get a job. So in Budapest, of course. So she left home, and Budapest was the last city that was rounded up, right? So, and it was her. So first they were put in the ghetto, and then the death march. The death march starting in January. Now, they were already losing the war. They knew that. I mean, the Jews didn't know that, but so now you walk, walk in the winter, in January, February, walk. They're walking from Budapest to Vienna. Dad's favorite sister, so he comes from a family of 10 children, 5 survived, 5 didn't. Yoli was his favorite sister. So Yoli actually was taken to Auschwitz, right? After Auschwitz, she comes out, goes to Switzerland, and there's a second cousin in Long Island who's going to sponsor her in New York, because the Jews couldn't just come. You had to have a sponsor. You had to have someone here in America who was going to take responsibility for you in case something happened. So you could just come. The Jews who survived the Holocaust, my parents went to Israel because everybody else said no. So she comes to New York, and this is such a great story, over one dance, there's a Jewish dance in Manhattan over a weekend, right? And a rich Texan happens to be in town, and he goes to the dance, and he takes one look at Yoli, who was my daughter Yoli. I will show pictures. I'll send pictures. So, of course, he takes her back to Texas, where he is the vice president of Neiman Marcus. Thank you very much.
There we go.
So when she hears
Motherland.
her favorite brother is alive, she didn't know if Isidore was alive. How would this was after the war. Yeah, she's in Auschwitz. Well, how does she know if Isidore survived or not? I don't know how she found out, but she found out. So Isidore is, her favorite brother. So guess what? She goes shopping, and she ain't looking at price tags. So at least once a month, we would get packages from Neiman Marcus. And my mother would invite all it's the art of dressing master class. My mother would invite all
book, which we will put into
my book and my class, right?
Yes.
So the packages just arrived, right? And there's clothes from Neiman Marcus with my aunt's incredible eye, not just any clothes, of course, the best of the best. What do you think? So my mother would invite all the aunts and the uncles and the cousins. They would all get, probably Saturday night after Shabbos, she'd bake cake and coffee on the porch, and simply gave them a show. I took out all the clothes that just came from America, and I would show them exactly what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
In my order, exactly what I did on my stories this morning. Right. Okay, so of course, so I'm the best dressed girl from day one, always. But I never thought to do anything with it. I was a smart, a smart Jewish girl. Okay, so we came here. It broke my heart. We came. They didn't ask me. I had no say in it. In fact, I begged them. I said, "Please leave me here." When my mother died, when I was 31 in 1981. That summer, I went to Israel to mourn my mother in Israel. So I was already living on 72nd Street between West End and Riverside. Okay, so I would walk to Cafe Luxembourg. Are you still the same? I'm still there. I've been there since I'm 32 because of my mother. That's how I got the apartment, because of my mother. Okay, so now I'm at Luxembourg, and my hostess at Luxembourg, and this guy comes in one day, and he says, "What time do you get off Saturday night?" I said, 11. He said, "Great, I'd like to take you to a restaurant that I know you're going to love. I'll see you Saturday night." And sure enough, Saturday night comes. He comes in at around 11:15, sits himself down at the bar, motions that he's there, but he's totally fine, buys himself a drink. It's 11 o'clock. I go get my coat, and I say goodnight. Keith, the owner, said, "Tziporah, this is your last night." Okay, so I've just been fired. My date's waiting for me. We go to Jezebel. So Jezebel is a restaurant on 45th Street and 9th Avenue. The owner is a woman named Alberta Wright. She had an antique clothing store on Columbus called Jezebel. I read in one of the magazines, I think it was San Francisco magazines, the best thrift stores in New York City. And Jezebel was mentioned on it. It was on 77th and Columbus. John and Yoko would come in all the time. She had the best. She had great stuff. She then closed the shop and opened up this restaurant where my date was taking me. So these piano shows, there were 17 tables, and each table, the piano shows the tablecloth. Now, of course, they were covered in glass, but so this would be one. The other one would be black with yellow peonies, and then pink with red peonies, and then purple with orange peonies, and then I mean 17 of these tables of these, yeah, 70 tables. All that the beaded dresses were hanging off the exposed beams. The lampshades all beaded. It was a maxi of my mini because that's how I decorate. Mm-hmm. I have one table with a piano show. The hats and the everything is all around. Just so it was like taking
Disneyland.
Like in Disney, right? In a big, right? Like the beaded little beaded bags, they would be off the lampshade, right? And scarves like that, tying the vases, tying the vases. This little scarf, antique, right, with the flower. Okay, so now there's a door, and I boom with the door, swing the door open. I'm now in the kitchen. And there's this amazing woman, Alberta, the owner, frying up the okra with this incredible doodad on her head, like with the short, great thighs. She looks at me, she says, "What are you wearing, dear?" And I said, Yoji Yamamoto, and I still have it. It's an incredible jumper, one shoulder. She says, "What are you wearing?" Yoji Yamamoto. Turn around. I turn around. She says, "What do you do?"
And bingo,
she hired me. So this was my best job. To this day, this was my best job because we had to wear our own antique clothes. We were 4 waitresses, all Jezebels. Now I have to tell you, they were all they were black. Everyone in the restaurant, Alberta, I'm the only white girl. And I never felt more at home. I mean, it was like being at home, with my black sisters. So anybody who was anybody would come into that restaurant in the arts, in all arts. So, and I failed to mention, she dressed Annie Hall, Alberta. So the clothes for Annie Hall, they were Ralph Lauren, the new clothes, and all the ties and the vintage, that's all from Alberta. Mm-hmm. So people like Diane Keaton would come in. People, Paul Newman and Joanne Woodward, every Friday night. Mm. Every Friday night. And Joanne always came before Paul. She never sat idly. She'd take out her embroidery. And then as soon as Paul came, she would put the embroidery in a bag. They would, of course, hug and kiss and hold hands during dinner. I mean, it was Stevie Wonder had his birthday party there. Harry Belafonte had his birthday party there. I mean, it was like 4:30. It's like showtime. Like who's going to walk through those doors? I loved that job. I loved it. And of course, everyone thought I was Jezebel. Oh, and because I was the best dressed, of course, Alberta would bring me her hats from her collection. And say, wear this today. And of course, I would take the hat back home and build an outfit for the hat. So I'm still like, what am I meant to be? And I say to my friend, Melissa, I love working at Jezebel. Don't get me wrong. And the money is great and I love it. But obviously, what am I meant to do? So she says, ask God that question tonight before you fall asleep. Okay, easy enough. I ask God, I fall asleep. The next day, I wake up and I remember the dream. In the dream, my roommate, and I had a roommate, Deborah, the youngest of the Jezebels, she was my roommate. So the phone rings in the dream. Deborah hands me the phone. She said, Tziporah, it's for you. It's Glenn Close. In the dream, okay. Again, I say, hello, Miss Close. I've always admired your work. Okay. She said, 1984, we're talking. Okay, I'm 34 years old.
Fatal Attraction.
You got it. Yeah. Right. So I said, I've always, I'm a big fan. I've always admired your work. She said, Tziporah, I hear you're a fashion consultant. I hear you're the best in the business. I want to hire you.
Hey, if you've ever wondered how artists really make a living from their art with maybe without a gallery, an agent, or 100,000 followers, then you absolutely need to watch this masterclass. It's free. And I pull back the curtain on what it actually takes to sell more art and create consistent income from your creativity. Whether you're just getting started or you have some success and you're building on that, this class is going to help you stop spinning and start selling. So head on over to schulmanart.com/sell-more-art to save your spot. And now let's get back to the show.
That's it. That's the dream. I called Melissa, the friend who told me to do this. Melissa, you won't believe this. I'm telling Melissa about the dream. She says to me, Tziporah, I suggest you take your portfolio and you go to Broadway where Glenn was appearing in a show called The Benefactors. Okay? So it's Wednesday afternoon. I get all dolled up. I know there's a matinee, and I say, I'm here to see Glenn Close. And they say, go knocking on that door. Okay. I go knocking. Right. This guard comes from behind. Yes, can I help you? Yes, hi, I'm here to see Glenn Close. Do you have an appointment? I'm sorry, no. He says, I'm sorry, you can't see her. And I'm about to walk away. I am walking away. What, I'm going to argue? When a woman comes from behind him, you can't make this shit up. This is real. This is not the dream. A woman comes from behind him and says, won't you come in? We've been waiting. But obviously they were waiting for someone at 4:00 and I show up. So wait, so the assistant takes me back.
Bingo. Right? Bingo. Okay.
The assistant takes me right, and the dressing room that has a star on it opens up. Glenn Close comes out and says, won't you come in? Immediately I say, Miss Close, I am not who you think I am. I don't know who you're expecting. We open up my portfolio, and she's looking at the clothes, and she starts telling me her history with clothes. How she only wore hand-me-downs growing up. You know, they were poor, hand-me-down, blah, blah, blah. Okay, fine. But now she says, I really must go because probably the other woman was here, right? Really must go. So I say to her, Miss Close, you got stardom written all over you. With me in your life, you'll just be a little more glamorous as you get there. That was it. Around 2 weeks later, I leave her my card. Around 2 weeks later, I get a beautiful handwritten note. Thank you so much. I was so taken by your moxie and your pizzazz, but having thought about it, no, thank you. And really, she really should have hired me, but let's not go there. She does not dress well, but okay, she didn't hire me. Her loss, right? All right.
What did you say? I'm ready for my close-up.
Right. But I figured God would handle it, right?
Yeah.
So this is it. So I went on to do a whole lot. Fast forward, what I was doing was showing outfits on Instagram and for a living. Okay, I have a course called the Art of Dressing Masterclass. Museums hire me. The Fashion Council of Chicago hired me. SCAD Savannah hired me. It's a school. Parsons, SCAD Atlanta, right? And I'm also a model. I became a model when I was 63. And I teach this course, and I have 135, at the time when October 7th happened, 135,000 followers on Instagram. Once that happened, I could no longer show the clothes. It was like, this is what's important. My people are being killed. This is not the time to show the clothes. So I kind of didn't have a voice and didn't know what to do.
And how long did you stay in that place? Or you're still there?
I'm just coming out.
Yeah, because
I am just coming out.
It's like this week you posted almost every day.
But before then, okay, so what happened this week was I'm on the bicycle and I'm blasting Yuval Raphael's music, New Day Will Come. That gave me hope. That only started last week, right? So I was learning about Tikkun Olam and being a good Jew, and how
Tikkun Olam is healing the world.
And how is this my Tikkun Olam? How am I healing by playing dress up? I go to a retreat called Elat Chaim during the summer. And there were also classes in Judaism and yoga. And our first Shabbat, Shefa Gold, who was one of the rabbis there, asked if there was anyone who wanted to dress the Torah. Now, I had never heard that you dressed the Torah.
So
I didn't know
it's
that.
Fashion, not.
I raised my little
I'll just explain. So dressing the Torah, we basically have like a cover that goes over it. So it's not like you might be thinking like you're picking out an outfit. It already has a thing. You put it on.
First the belt.
Yes, you put on the belt, you put on the cover, and you put on the hats.
And the yad.
And the yad, right. Yeah. The crowns and the yad. Right. The yad is what they use to read, so they don't touch the parchment. Exactly.
And the yad it's a finger, right? So I'm raising my hand. All the other work study people are like giggling, of course, because, and she says to me, yes, I noticed you are a good dresser. And I have to tell you, this was the parting of the Red Sea for me. It really was. It was like, for the first time in my life, a rabbi acknowledged what I did and found it good.
Okay, right.
I had the rabbi's blessing in some way, that this wasn't frivolous, that this wasn't vain, that I noticed.
So now, October 7th happened, and you, like many Jewish people, felt shut down.
Totally.
I've never had this conversation with you because I felt shut down. It brought up a lot of ancestral trauma. So, Tziporah said she has child of Holocaust survivors, but all Jews are survivors of something, pogroms.
Yes.
And you can feel in the DNA, it's time to hide.
Yes.
Yes. It doesn't feel safe.
Yes.
And one could argue in cancel culture, it doesn't feel safe.
It is, and it's not safe.
And yet I wrote a whole book. A whole chapter in my book is how you're supposed to embrace what's weird, what's different, and not be afraid of being polarizing. And yet here I was feeling scared to talk about my son being a soldier on October 7th and going into Kibbutz Be'eri.
I didn't know this.
So on October 7th, we get the call that Israel's at war. Of course, my son was already in training and in a special forces unit. So anytime I got the call, I thought, oh my God, he's dead. So I was just happy to hear he wasn't dead, but he was going in. So October 7th, October 8th, I thought it was okay to say, my son's okay, and here's a picture of him. It wasn't okay, because then that's when the hate started.
Right.
Right. So I haven't been hiding that I'm Jewish. I haven't been hiding that I have an Israeli son, and now I have an Israeli family. He's married.
Oh.
What got me through
and children?
There will be a child soon. But for me, the Red Sea was during the war, when he was a soldier in active duty in Gaza for 2 months. I was Miriam on that sandbar singing. That was how I got through it, was that I'm okay right now. He's okay right now.
Wow.
I don't think about the Egyptians on my back. I don't think about what's ahead. That was like the metaphor for me.
Wow.
And this is how I'm going to get through it.
Wow.
So as far as how I show up, you say you share. I decided that it wasn't my lane to share, because I felt, not that you're doing the wrong thing. I'm glad there's lots of people sharing. I knew that I still wanted to be a place that people could come to and find that peace in their art and still hear that message they needed to hear. And I would love for you to continue to be that place where when I want to just hear about fashion, I can go there.
Well, that's what's so nice is that so that post that I did, and I was in the garden on 70. There's a beautiful garden that the community really takes care of. So that's where in the neighborhood, it's like
No,
88th, 87th.
No, you know what?
No,
It's a place where Tom Hanks meets Meg Ryan in that movie You Got Mail. At the very end, there's that garden. Is that on 92nd Street? The garden. The garden.
Okay,
Yes.
so that's where that post that I did about in yellow, the yellow ribbon, that was a woman just stopped me and said, "You look so lovely." And she happened to be Jewish. And I said, "Please." So she posted that and I posted that anyway, on that post, I got so many comments about, "We're here for the fashion too. Please, please, it's one that please continue the fashion. Come back." So that's why I'm doing it again. Come back, tell us. That's why today I did a whole thing about anatomy of an outfit, right? Come back, come back.
As my namesake Miriam, please stay.
Oh, I love you.
Because this is what Miriam did. They're crossing the Red Sea, and she said, "Let's sing."
Right.
Let's sing.
Right.
And I know there's a lot of artists who feel, not just Jewish artists, but artists who feel like, I can't do something because there's an earthquake. I can't do something because of the economy. I can't do something because whatever, tariffs, there's always something. The world needs your art.
Right.
The world, some of the best art has always come after these moments, like after World War II, or after these moments. The world needs it. Art is healing for people.
Yeah. Absolutely. So it really is, because the feedback that I'm getting is, please, we're also here for this. So please continue and please tell us and please show us. So so I'm kind of back. And what I'm grateful for too is that I can share on my stories other people who are educating the world about what's going on.
Yes.
Like Noah, like Norman Fried, who therapist. Douglas Murray, like exactly, like all these people who are speaking up. Today, a woman, I reposted on my story, not Jewish, not anyone. She says, "No, I am standing up for my Jewish friends. This is crazy what's going on." Reposted her on stories. So I will redo the stories, and on my own thing, I'll continue with the clothes. That's a nice, very nice compromise.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining me here for this conversation. I want to follow up with you. So first of all, we want to make this the happy ending for those who don't know.
Okay,
my son was like, in Gaza looking for tunnels and all that.
Really?
I didn't sleep, yes. And what got me through is I decided that I was going to learn Hebrew. I didn't know any Hebrew.
How did you learn Hebrew?
I didn't know anything. I didn't even know the letters on the dreidel.
Wow.
I knew nothing.
Wow.
Now, עכשיו, אני מדברת עברית.
איזה יופי, ומי לימד אותך? איך למדת? How למדת? Did you learn?
How did I learn? I asked the cantor to help me. I said, we'll pick something out in December. And I had my bat mitzvah of December of this year.
What?
And I did the whole 11 Pitsum, see, Ken? I did 11 lines, and then I also signed up Rollpon and good old Duolingo. So
really?
Yeah.
And Ulpan where?
JCC.
And you go?
We went like for a semester and a half, and then my husband says, "Please don't make us go anymore. Like it's too much homework." But אני יודעת עברית עכשיו.
איזה יופי.
התשובה שלי.
איזה יופי, כן, נכון. That's wonderful.
So that was my thought, that my son would get through the war and someday I would speak to my Israeli grandchildren.
I love that.
And then, so he was in Gaza and he was dating though. Every weekend that he was not in the army, he was doing the Orthodox dating thing. I mean, we found out that when we went to visit him, at the end ball. He was meeting girls down in the lobby after we went to sleep, like Stitzel. Okay, so now he met this girl right after we went home. He met a girl, and in February he says, okay, Mom, I met the girl. I'm getting married. So in August 24, he got married.
Wow.
And 9 months later, I'm going to be a Zavta.
Easy Yofi. So that's what you're going?
Yes.
So they really are into getting married and having children to rebuild.
He says that it's a culture of life there. They're very clear. So he graduated as soon as he possibly could.
Where did he go to school? NYU. Okay, you
he
said that.
Finished his last semester in Tel Aviv, and he started. And we didn't know he was going to become Orthodox. He knew, but we didn't know.
Really?
And he started studying at a yeshiva at the same time, and then he also became fluent in Hebrew. He joined the army. He got into a special forces unit. He's like, guess what, Mom? I got in. I'm like, yay. Like I wasn't excited about that.
Wow.
Yes, let's say goodbye. Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye. It's been a pleasure.
So when I first invited Tziporah on the show, it was because we had discussed how we both wanted to have a vulnerable conversation about what it feels like to be Jewish, especially if you're someone with deep ties to Israel in a post-October 7th world. And that's the kind of dialogue I believe we need more of: honest, tender, uncomfortable, vulnerable. But as we recorded, I could sense that vulnerability was not going to be easy for her to access in the moment. And instead, she leaned into what's always been her safe harbor: fashion, storytelling, personal style. And I honored that. The truth is, creativity can be a kind of armor and a kind of prayer. And sometimes we speak through our words, and sometimes through the way we dress, we carry ourselves, or show up in beauty during dark times. So if this conversation stirred something in you, whether it's about self-expression, Jewish identity, or simply what it means to live creatively, I hope you'll keep exploring. And if you're an artist looking to make a bigger impact, thanks for listening. And until next time, stay inspired. Keep creating, keep speaking out, even when it's hard, even when it's vulnerable. I'll see you the same time, same place next week. Until then, stay inspired. Bye for now.